Term insurance is temporary. So if, hypothetically speaking, I am 34 years old, it's pretty close to my age, but 34 years old, and I get a 30-year term policy. So that means that at age 34, all the way up until I am 64, that's a 30-year term period, I would have coverage. So if, hypothetically speaking, I get a $500,000 term insurance policy term, it'll cover me for that term. If I pass away on time during that 30-year period, my family will get a $500,000, hypothetically speaking, if that's the amount of insurance that a prospective client is looking for. And if my premium is $100 a month, then that's what I'm paying for my 30-year term insurance policy. There's a break off of that. So there's a 30-year level term period, or there's an ART. ART stands for annual renewable term, which is another option of term insurance. Or there's something else called return of premium term. That's where you get back all of your money if you don't pass away during that 20 or 30 year period of term insurance. So term insurance is very simple to understand. There's a very popular company out there that just sells term insurance. So go figure, they think everything else is horrible. I would too if I sold Mercedes and I didn't sell Hondas. So it's gotta be right for that prospective client. Every single client is different. I'm gonna open it up to questions in a second, but term insurance is just that. It covers you for a certain period of time, a term, and then it expires right when you need it the most, which you'll see in a second as I answer the questions. It's totally case by case. So every single client is going to be different. Questions? Dre has a question.
What happens when that policy expires?
Good question. So let's just say I get a $500,000 life insurance policy. My premium is $50 a month and I am age 34. That would mean that at age 64, my life insurance has just expired on me. That means that you have no more life insurance. So at 64, you put $50 a month in for the past 30 years and now you have no more life insurance. Now, can you renew it? Yes, you can. But now instead of paying $50 a month, it's more like $600 a month because the renewal rate is always going to be very, very expensive, abominable. Because the insurance company says to themselves, if they're going to keep the life insurance policy and pay $600 a month, more than likely, something's wrong with them. They got some debilitating disease or something is really wrong. And you want to keep the insurance policy, of course, because you want it as a death benefit for your family. That's why it's so important to get the options explained to you in other insurance plans, other carriers. You can now convert that term policy to now a permanent policy. So you should ask your agent, or us as a matter of fact, if you decide to go with us, can I convert my term policy into a permanent policy if that would apply? And with that particular company I was talking about, not to throw any names out there, but you cannot convert that term into a permanent because they don't offer permanent insurance. So great question. Dre, another question.
How many years does this term cover? And is there a certain amount you can buy?
So how many years? There's term insurance policies for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Heck, AIG has 35-year term policies. So you can get a term insurance policy for 35 years if you're young enough to actually get that. So the answer is, who's the carrier and how many years are they offering? Because not every company offers a 35-year term insurance policy. Here at the Financial Architects, we're a brokerage company. So we have several different options to choose from. And that's what makes us pretty awesome. Another question.
Why would term be a better option than a permanent policy?
That's a loaded question. Why would a term insurance policy be better than a permanent policy? I normally, and my agents are trained to normally give people options. Everyone likes options. So if I walk into Foot Locker and I have a choice, I got Nike, I got Reebok, I got Timberland, I got all these choices. I like that because I might be liking the Adidas instead of the Nikes. But if I walk into Nike Town, I only have one choice. So that's why choosing a discount brokerage company is super important because you have all these choices. I ask the client fact-finding questions. Do you own a home? Do you own multiple properties? What's your debt ratio? Things like that are very important. So if I get a term insurance policy, in my opinion, it's for somebody that can just afford a term insurance policy. But again, there's different options. So what I normally do is I go, hey, I got a $50 a month term policy. I got a $100 a month return of premium term insurance policy, or I have a $220 permanent insurance policy option. And then that's when the client asks me all these different questions surrounding each and every policy type. So do I make a recommendation? But normally if the client asks me, yes, I'll make a recommendation. 9 times out of 10, they're just asking to reinforce what they already believe in anyways. So a lot of it has to do with budget. The other day I recommended against a permanent policy because the guy was putting in $100 a month into a permanent policy and he was overpaying for it. It was super expensive, and I brought his cost down $70 inside of a term insurance policy. And what that did for him was free up more money so that he can go and purchase a home. Always be aware of insurance salespeople as well. If I don't own a home and I'm looking to purchase a home in the near future and I don't necessarily need a permanent insurance option, I'll recommend term insurance all day long. I mean, we all know if you have kids, you should have a life insurance policy. If you're married, you should have a life insurance policy. If you make money and someone else is depending on the money, you need a life insurance policy. If you're 20 years old and you think you're gonna have a family in the near future, you need an insurance policy. So everybody needs the insurance policy. It's just which type would they like? Do they wanna rent an insurance policy or do they wanna buy an insurance policy? That's really the difference between a term or a permanent insurance policy. Jay, you had a question?
Yeah, how do I go about getting the best rate on term?
So the best rate on term, what's cool is if, again, you go to a discount brokerage company, they will have just a rating machine. They're not any more genius than I am. So they punch in your name, your date of birth, your risk tolerance, or not your risk tolerance, that's retirement planning, but they punch in your health, what they believe your health would be, your health rating, and then they press enter based on your death benefit, and it's gonna spit out the least expensive to the most expensive. Then you have to ask yourself, do I want to be with a AA rated company? Do I want to be with a B rated company? You know, you need to ask these questions of your agent. So the answer to that question is go through a brokerage company who has tons of different choices based on your underwriting guidelines. Don't go through a captive company. If I walk into the front doorstep of XYZ company and they only have one company, probably not the company to go with. Good question. Other questions?
Yeah, is this the best option for young parents?
Yes and no. Again, that's a loaded question. It's totally based on the client. They're my boss. So when I sit in front of a client, again, they're the ones calling shots. I'm the one just supplying the information. So that's completely up to them. If they're a young family and they're barely getting by, absolutely they should have term insurance because that's super affordable for them. And why are they going to break their back into getting an insurance policy? I will, however, tell you a short story. I had a single mom who says, if I'm the biggest loser ever, as long as I have this permanent life insurance policy that's going to pay my kids, when I die, I will be their savior in long-term thinking. So that's exactly what she decided to get into because that's her choice. So if you have any more questions or if you want to write any comment in between, please write it right below. At the Financial Architects, we have several different choices. You can reach us at tfainsuranceadvisors.com or you can contact us at our 800 number, 888-350-5396. We'd love to help you out. We have tons of different agents here that speak different languages. So if a language barrier is the challenge, please give us an opportunity to compete for your business and save you some money. Thank you.